Okay, one sec. All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 5 of the Vibrant You Health Show. I'm so excited to have my friend Tim James on tonight. Thank you so much for joining me, Tim.
Blake, it is my pleasure to be here, my friend.
Hey, Tim. Well, shoot, I don't know how long. We must have met, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that, when I started working here. And Tim has really been influential in my life, really taught me a lot about health coaching and just health in general, about diet, lifestyle, exercise, mindset. Tim's just a really positive guy, really fun, tons of knowledge. Tim is a health coach, and he is the founder of Chemical Free Body, his own health consultation firm, and supplement company. And I really appreciate your engagement in the health challenges we do. You always have a lot of good engagement there, and with the classes you've done here at the store over the years, the cooking classes.
Yeah, those have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the health classes. And so, Tim, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into health and your journey from unhealthy to healthy, and all the that part of it. I think you have a pretty neat story. You want to share with us some of that?
Sure. Well, a lot of you listening, if you're from the Eastern Oregon, La Grande area, I grew up there. And I grew up out at the base of Mount Emily. So it's about 6-7 miles out of town on a small cattle and hay farm. Grew up hunting and fishing, grew up on the standard American diet, played baseball at a high level, and then ended up at age 37, I'll fast forward, 42 pounds overweight, skin issues on my elbows, my back. I had eczema on my elbows and my knee, cracking and bleeding. I developed gut issues, leaky gut. I had acid reflux really bad. I was eating Tums and Rolaids all day, every day, 24/7. Doctors wanted me to go on Prilosec and take some other stuff, and I just stayed away from it. It sounded weird. That's probably one of the good things I did. But I had my head buried in the sand. I actually, then it got worse. I would bleed rectally after pooping. So that's why if you see my shirt, it says "Love when you poop," because
you weren't loving it then at that point.
No, I wasn't. If you look at it as a pain scale, like on a pain level of 1 to 10, 10, 1 not much and 10 a lot, I was about a 6 or a 7 every time I'd poop. So that was, and then followed by blood. And then I'd be like, well, hope that goes away, and then I just go back to being a dad, making the mortgage payment, coaching basketball or baseball or football or whatever I was doing with the kids, and hanging out with my friends, fishing, hunting, whatever. And kind of had my head buried in the sand, pretty stubborn, kind of, old school redneck mentality. And it wasn't, and it got even worse, dude, because then I was on I actually flew to Peru on this long trip that we planned with my wife and her dad. And we were down in northern Peru and just south of Ecuador in this town called Tumbes. It was freaking beautiful beaches, and it was just unbelievable. Very few people there. It's a small town, one plane in and out every day. That's it. And I missed the plane by about 30 minutes, and I was doubled over in pain. They had to basically put me on a van and drive me 6 hours in the middle of the night at a bumpy road, and every bump hurt. And then they doped me up in this town called Piura at the hospital. And literally in the examination table, there's tons of bugs flying up around me. So it was literally third world country. Her dad, thank God, was a physician, MD, and he ran a big clinic in Lima. So they doped me up, put me on a plane, commercial plane. And I showed up the next morning and then took a taxi right into surgery, basically. And then I spent the rest of my vacation in a hospital. And then I was pushed back into the United States in a wheelchair. So that was my well-planned vacation, very expensive. And that's when I learned that my poor health didn't affect just me. It affected everybody else around me. So I still didn't know what to do. I tried all the different books, eat 6 small meals a day. And if I got any results at all, I'd tell everybody about it. Right. But then it would always, it didn't matter. Every year I gained more weight. Every year, a pound or 2, every year. Boom, boom, boom. It just kept piling on. And my energy went down. My mental clarity was going down. I was literally at the point where I stopped going to the gym, and I was religious. I was up at 4:49 a.m. driving there, get my workouts done, be home, wake the kids up by, 7:30, get them off to school. And I got away from that when I moved. I left my core group of guys that we worked out with, and then I just stopped working out. And so it went downhill from there. So that was where I was at. And then a good friend of mine on my baseball team got diagnosed with cancer, and we lost him. And he left 3 little boys behind from ages 6 to 17. Did a fundraiser because he didn't have insurance. It was terrible. His name was Calais. And then right after that, a few years after that, my friend Charles got diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is a supposedly at the time incurable blood cancer. And Charles said, "Hey, I don't want to die. I want to see my son graduate high school. I want to go with him to father-son weekend at Oregon State University. We've got it all planned out. And I want to live. So they don't have anything for me in Western medicine. I'm going to try to heal naturally. I'm going to go to this place in Florida called the Hippocrates Health Institute. At the time, they were a 61-year-old detox and nutrition center. It was started by a gal named Ann Wigmore, who healed herself of stage 4 colon cancer back in the 50s with literally lawn grass juice and a bunch of herbs. So her surrogate grandmother back in Lithuania, that's where she was from, was the village doctor. And she would heal people, using natural stuff because that's all they had back then, right? And go ahead.
Hippocrates, that's like a place you go stay, basically?
Yeah, it's an institute. It's a 50-acre, basically, healing resort. And they give you, they have what's called a 3-week life transformation program, and you get 40 hours of educational lecture. So not only putting you on the freshest, most powerful, most nutritious foods on the planet, like sprouts, and sprout juices, but they're also educating you on why you got there. And when you go back home, how to change your lifestyle, basically, so it doesn't come back on you and you can heal yourself. And, a lot of the people make it. Some of them didn't because they went too far down the standard American diet and all the cooked processed foods and the irradiated and pasteurized and the synthetic chemicals and all the crap that's in the food and the drinks today. And then they went into a broken medical system. And it doesn't take, you don't have to be smart to look around and know that our health is failing as a country. I mean, if you took everybody in LeGrand and lined them up on the 100-yard line and said, go, it would be very interesting to watch everybody sprint 100 yards and see what happens, right? Very few people could make it 100 yards probably without falling over, or it'd be a very difficult race for them. And I know we're laughing about it, but that's where we're at today. It's sad. I mean, people can't even, some people, like if you're in LeGrand, some people can't even like go walk a little bit to go to a good fishing spot or walk up the hill and pick some morel mushrooms anymore, right? Or even when they're younger. I stopped in Arlington, Blake, every time in the summer. I stop at Arlington and I swim. I just take a break, swim around a little bit and come back in the car. And then and on the way back, same thing. And dude, every year it's getting worse. I see all these little kids coming out and there's tons of kids playing. Most of the adults don't even get in the water. And man, there's a lot of them that are not just overweight, but I'm talking obese and morbidly obese. There was I would say there was probably, the last time I stopped, there was probably 15 kids in the group, and three of them, 20% of them, is that even 20%? Yeah. Were morbidly obese. Morbidly. Like they were huge. And I was just thinking, oh my God. I was like, dude, I was almost in tears just sitting there watching them. I was like, oh my God.
And it's funny to think, we're not able to do some of these simple things, but none of us are immune from being in that position. Like we could all easily be in a very bad health situation based on what we put in our bodies, based on what we do for exercise, based on what we do for spiritual, mental, physical health.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man, it's been quite the journey. And to wrap up the story, I come back, I looked at Charles, we followed the protocols. I do want to say this because this is an important part. It's like we had a class called Internal Awareness. It was a 3.5-hour long lecture. And this doctor comes out and this dude is ripped. I mean, he is buff. And I was like, damn, this guy's in good shape. Like, whew, and then I found out that it's his 50th birthday that day. Well, guess what? I thought he was 40. And everybody that worked at that place looked about 10, 15, 20 years younger than their age, the ones that had been working there a long time. And I was like, whoa, there's something going on here. I still didn't believe that my buddy was going to heal himself of cancer. My grandma died of brain cancer. My aunt died of skin cancer. I just lost a friend who was 40 from stomach cancer. Now my buddy at 43 has got this incurable cancer. I'm like, he's toast. But I went there to support him. And I got my world completely flipped upside down. So this doctor started talking about the average person. I want everybody to listen very clearly. The average person is carrying around 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in your colon. Okay. It's not supposed to be there. Okay. It's supposed to be, it's a waste removal system, not a storage tank. But because of the lack of drinking enough water, less than 5% of us are drinking enough water, the body then goes to the colon to take the water for the blood, for the brain, whatever it needs. And we end up with this dried colon. And over time, it gets impacted. Throw on top of it the cooked, radiated, processed foods, all this, fried foods, all this stuff. And you end up with this funk and gunk and junk in your colon that weighs about 6 to 12 pounds on average. Well, they were trying to sell us on what was called a colon hydrotherapy or colonic. And this is where you sit on a tube rectally and water gently goes in and out of your colon and it cleans all that stuff out. And even hearing this stuff, I'm like, I ain't doing that. There's no way. Nobody's going to get me to do that. I elbowed Charles, said, look, dude, I came here to help you, but I'm not doing that deal. I mean, I remember it just like it was yesterday. Well, then the doctor put on the screen videos, colonoscopy videos, where they went into people's colons. He said, this is a 24-year-old female with Hashimoto's, which is a thyroid disorder, and thrush, which is a yeast infection. And inside of her colon was white and yellow and just weird looking. Then he showed like a 64-year-old male with colon cancer and parasites. And it was just black and nasty in there and dark. And it was just, and then worms crawling around. I was like, yeah. And, looking at this stuff, it's hard to look at. And then like, oh, here's a 54-year-old woman that's got breast cancer and colitis or something, right? And inside of her colon, it was like yellows and browns and nasty stuff in there. And I was just like, holy crap. And then they show the next one. And he goes, this is a healthy person. And inside of their colon, it was all pink and blood vessels. You could see everything and normal. And he said, this is these 3 people here, 4 people, actually showed quite a few of them. He said, these people have been consuming the standard American diet. Now, you have a lasagna, you have a pizza once in a while, shoot me, no big deal. Birthdays, parties, cakes, enjoy yourself. But constantly every single day, this is what the results are going to be on your inside, and you can't see it, so you don't think things are going on. This is what we teach people to get their colon to look like. You got to clean this stuff up and then change your lifestyle a little bit and what you eat, and then you can have a colon like this. Well, when I saw those videos, I was the first one to sign up on that deal. The next day I went in, they weighed me. I got colon hydrotherapy session. They weighed me again. I dropped 10 pounds in 1 hour. I had 10 pounds, just like he said. He actually pointed at me at the group. He goes, Tim, you got 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. And if you ever want to be healthy, truly healthy, and have a long, vibrant life, you're going to have to clean it out and keep it clean and take care of your insides. And that stuck with me. And I lost 10 pounds. Now, the record at that institute was one woman after one 1-hour session dropped 27 pounds. 27. Like, that's like the size of a medium-sized dog. Imagine having a dog drop out of you. Like, think about that. Like, and now what's the big deal about that? Well, when you have all this garbage in you, you want to look at it like this, like the alleyways in Chicago as an example. People put their garbage in the alley. The garbage truck comes in, takes it out. Garbage truck companies go on strike. Garbage piles up in the alley. Then what happens? The rats and the bugs come in because of all the garbage, right? The rats and the bugs weren't there before because the garbage truck driver took it away. This is your colon. Your colon should be evacuating waste all the time. Again, it's a waste removal system, not a storage tank. But when that stuff starts piling up, in comes the bugs. But what are the bugs in humans? Viruses, bacterias, mold, yeast, fungus, parasites, little worms and stuff like that. And mutagens, cancers love it because it's a high acid, low oxygen environment. So the standard American diet and lack of drinking water and not taking care of ourselves has created an environment internally that is conducive to ill health, major problems. And, I learned this stuff. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, I was like floored, but you know what really turned me around on it? Besides the education, it was how I felt, Blake. But I felt terrible the first 4 or 5 days on this program. I had headaches, night sweats. I was irritable. I had a metallic taste coming out of my tongue because of heavy metals were exiting my body because it was changing the internal terrain, what I drank, what I ate. And they were working on my think with the lectures. And then on day 4, Thursday, I woke up 5 and I'm like, oh, it was like the clouds parted. And God's like, dude, your body's rocking. And my head was like, my mental clarity was ridiculous. My arms were tingling with energy. And I looked at Charles. I said, dude, you're going to make it. Do you feel as good as I do? He's like, yeah. I said, you're going to make it. I'm like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to give up all meat except for bacon. And we're going to do this sprouting stuff and juicing. We're going to do this Ann Wigmore plan, the Hippocrates deal. And you're going to heal. And you're going to see and do all those things you wanted to do. And you're going to be my friend for life. And we're going to keep doing this. And we came home, and that's exactly what we did. We changed our lifestyle. Within 60 days, dude, I dropped the 42 pounds. My ribs were back again. Elbows, eczema, gone. Shoulder issue, gone. 60 days. In 8 months, that huge patch of eczema was completely gone from my knee. And I've continued that healing process. And here I am, 11 years into it. I'm 48 years old. I run up and down mountains. Like when I was 37, I was a mess. Like I was huffing and puffing. I was one of those people on the 100-yard line that I'd have been dying at the finish line. I probably could have made it, but now I could sprint down there, jog back, sprint down and jog back. And in the summer times, usually I do barefoot running now. I can do up to 30 of those once I've built up to 30, 100-yard sprints. 48 years old. Now, this couldn't have happened when I was 37. What changed? I got educated, and then I changed my lifestyle because I decided I wanted to be one of those people walking around that looked and felt 10 to 15, 20 years younger than everybody else. Because what we learned is that what I'm talking about here today is not crazy. This is not crazy talk. This is normal. This is natural. When you go, and this guy asked this normal, he asked this question. He said, Dr. Clement, he's like, well, how do we go home and live this crazy lifestyle in the real world? And he said, you have the question all wrong. The question is, how do I go home and live a normal life in a crazy world? And that's the educational piece that we have to get. We have to understand that our world is crazy today. It is actually insane when you think about it compared to nature, where every single living creature goes out and picks their own food immediately and eats it on the spot. There's no bags, no cans, no wrappers, no boxes. They eat it and it recycles itself. That's the natural. And we pull up to a drive-through. They hand us food in a sack, a hot sack. We eat it, and then we take the plastic and the stuff and we throw it out in the garbage, and then it litter all over the place. Not everybody litters, but you see what I'm saying? It goes into a garbage place and it goes back. Either it's in a landfill, a bunch of garbage in nature, or it floats around in the ocean.
Right.
And that's where we're at today. So we just have to wake up and get back to nature and clean all this man-made chemicals and toxins out of our body, clean up the digestive tract. And guess what? You can heal too. And you can feel the best you felt in years when you learn this.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So tell me, I want you to talk to me a little bit more about the water. Tell me what you think is a good amount of water that we should be getting every day to keep things kind of flushing through the colon and keeping that clean. And, if it's hydrated, every organ and every system of our body functions better when it's hydrated, right? Absolutely. So what's the amount of water that you would recommend?
Well, we recommend what I've learned, which is half your body weight in liquid ounces daily. So if you're 200 pounds individual, that's 100 ounces a day. If you're a 100-pound individual, that's 50 ounces a day. Now, if you're a triathlete, you're working out a lot, it's 150,000 degrees out, like it's been the last couple of days. Mm-hmm. You live in an arid climate. Yeah, you need to bump it up a little bit, right? But it's not just the water. The green juices, like when we take water and we haven't put our green 85 juice formula in that counts. Caffeine-free teas count. Mm-hmm. Flax water counts. One of our favorite tools to give people in a toolkit, flax water. So, stuff like this. I would even count sprouted nut milks, because we take the purified water and we blend it with a little bit of sprouted nut butter. 5 seconds later, you got sprouted nut milk with no other ingredients but clean water and some living nut milk. It's just amazing.
But it's a pretty short list. It's a pretty short list of what is, what you would say is count as water or count as
because if you think about it, dude, the only drink that our body wants and requires, the only drink is water. That's it. Your body's mostly made of it. You're 80%, 75% water. Bones are 22% water, for God's sake. Not having enough water in your body is the difference between finding your keys or hunting around for your keys for 10, 15 minutes. It literally drops IQ and your smarts.
Right. And so I think that's an interesting point too. And that takes us a little bit into diet. The body's over 70% water, right? And so one thing to take in mind, we are what we eat, and our body's constantly being remade by what we put in it. So the old saying, you are what you eat, is literally true. Your cells are being remade constantly, some parts faster than others. Hair is pretty fast, skin is pretty fast. Your bones completely remake after 10 years. And so what so if we're totally water, we need to be drinking water, but we also need to be looking at what's our food's made of, right? And most vegetables and plant foods are going to be over 80%, 90%, some of them 95% water. If you look at animal products or processed foods, I know a lot of meats are more like 50, 60%, and so, and then what else does it mix with water? Oil, right? Fat, grease, cholesterol, those things don't mix with water. And so, when we moved, we got this house we bought. It's a 100-year-old house, and we went and fixed it up. And I was working on the kitchen, and the sink would not drain. I was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I tried everything I snaked it. I dumped crap down there. I did everything to try to get this drain unclogged. And I called my buddy Jared. Shout out to Jared Blaylock, the best plumber in Union County. I called him, and he came over, and we crawled under the house, and we cut out a 10-foot section of pipe, and it was completely full of grease and oil and fat and cholesterol.
That was bacon grease, right?
And
it was bacon grease. My dad used to cook eggs in bacon grease.
Oh, big time, just years of that. And it's the same thing happens in our bodies and in our arteries. And I watched a triple bypass surgery, and they pulled out something out of this artery that looked very similar to what was in that pipe. And so if our bodies are over 70% water, then and oil and grease don't mix with it, then maybe we should lay off the oil and grease a little bit and drink lots of water, but also eat foods that are rich and full of water.
Well, you bring up 2 points here that I want to talk about. Number one, let's come back to the fats. Remind me on that.
Yeah.
But you said earlier, you are what you eat. One thing that I've learned is you got to take it a step further. You are what you absorb on a cellular level. Because you can eat stuff all you want, but if you can't get that nutrient into the cell, it's just a body burden. Your body has to spend a lot of energy to process it, and you get literally nothing from it except more acid and more and lower immune system and lower energy. Mm-hmm. Most people aren't aware, Blake, but it's 60 to 80% of all of our energy on a daily basis goes to digesting food, not running around, not walking upstairs, put on your coat, driving around, moving around, hopping up on a tractor. It's digestion. So that's why it's really important to understand that digestion is important. It's the driving engine of your life. And, we really need to understand it's about absorption. So if we're focusing more on absorption, how do we get our cells to absorb the proper nutrients? Well, number one, people say, well, we got to put the proper nutrients in. I agree with that. But sub-basement before that, you got to clean up those pipes. Right? They're plugged up. So the intestinal lining, which is, when you think about this is what we learned in that class, right? You chew your food. This is where it really starts. It starts with chewing your food.
Yeah.
It's our core secret number 2.
You can increase nutrient absorption by 50% by chewing your food.
Yeah, and the reason why is because not only you're masticating, people get that, makes it smaller. You think, well, it's less work for the gut, but you're actually secreting enzymes, amylase and lipase, from ducts in your mouth. And those enzymes, amylase and lipase, that break down your starches and your fats, then go down into your stomach, and in the stomach, they break everything down. Now, if you're thinking about protein, you have substances already in your stomach called hydrochloric acid and pepsin. This breaks down the proteins. And then it goes into the intestine, it's all acid in the stomach, right? It goes through that little 1-foot tube, the duodenum, and it goes from a highly acid, right to alkaline. And then it gets dumped into the small intestine. And those little hair-like structures, those villi, not only do they do that peristaltic action and push the food through you, but they pull the nutrients through the intestinal lining into the bloodstream. So, okay, well, we got to get the stuff through there first. Now, imagine if it's all gummed up from genetically modified foods and gluten, like unsprouted grains and wheat, terrible diet. And you've got all this mucoid plaques from the toxins and, not drinking enough water and all these things. And the colon does pull out some nutrients too and gets water out, but it's the small intestine where it's really most of these nutrients are putting into the blood, right? So, okay, well, if people have all this funk and gunk and junk in the small intestine and large intestine, doesn't it make sense? Like if your car is running well or running terribly, that don't just put premium fuel in it, which is one part, but we have to go in and we have to flush the engine. We have to get all the gummed up stuff out of the engine. Okay. Now you've done that. Let's say, and that's where the colon hydrotherapy, we have that gut detox product. Does a very good job. You take 3 in the morning, 3 at night for 15 days. You'll drop about 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material, but there's no diarrhea and you can do it while you're working, right? And then I just take 3 a day for maintenance. I've been doing it for 6 years and I keep my digestive tract and my organs clean. I look at it as my gut and organ. What's that?
That's the gut detox product.
Gut detox formula.
The toxin detox, and there's a gut detox product that we have at the store here.
Right. Toxin detox is for purifying your blood, fat, and muscle tissue. But I want to focus on a nutrient absorption because we are what we absorb. So we have to get that pathway of absorption and elimination cleaned up so that now when you bring the good nutrients in, they can get through the intestinal lining and get into the blood. But now there's another problem. People have a hard time absorbing nutrients from the cell. And I found there's 3 things that we need to focus on. Number 1, the cell has to be hydrated, plenty of water, for you to take in nutrients and expel waste matter. The cell also has to have a good fat or lipid membrane to bring in nutrients and expel waste, right? That's where we were going to talk about fats in a little bit, where, we want to have uncooked, unprocessed fats, nuts, sprouted seeds, sprouted beans. This is where you're going to get really good fats. Red raspberry seed extract oil, flaxseed oil, avocados. These are where you're going to get your high quality fats. Don't cook them or they switch to a lipid peroxide. This is a known carcinogen. So the third one is cellular inflammation. When your cells are inflamed with inflammation, they can't take nutrients in properly and they can't expel waste matter properly. And hormones like T3, T4, from the thyroid, and also like vitamin D, which is not a vitamin, it's a hormone, cannot attach to the cell and communicate properly. But we're just focusing on absorption nutrition. So you clean out the gut, you pave the way, you bring in the good nutrients, and then we reduce the inflammation on the cell by drinking lots of purified, restructured water, high quality, uncooked, unprocessed fats that are high quality. And then number 3, reducing the cellular inflammation. And there's stuff like that. We have a turmeric product. I don't know if you guys are carrying it, but that turmeric 100, no black pepper is needed. This does not go through the digestive tract. We don't need piperine from the black pepper to increase absorption. This goes directly through the mucous membrane in the mouth. And in 5 minutes, your entire cardiovascular system, your blood is being doused in these microscopic curcuminoids, which is the anti-inflammatory agent from turmeric, right? This is just one way of doing it. It's very effective. Yeah. And so those 3 things all happen. And now you're going to absorb nutrition like crazy. You're going to be getting rid of waste like crazy. Your body's going to start running like a top, and your hunger cravings are going to go down so much. You won't be able to eat as much food. Your grocery bill is going to drop and you're going to slim up. Your energy is going to spike. You're going to start feeling better. And that's how it works. So this doesn't all happen overnight. There's a process that we walk people through, but that's the whole thing that I've been working on for the past 11 years, was getting to the root of what can I do to increase absorption and remove waste from the body on a cellular level, a micro level. And if we do that culmination of all those cells and the small things add up to you. If your cells are healthy and vibrating at a high frequency, well, then guess what? You are going to be healthy and you are going to vibrate at a high frequency. And people are like, are you on cocaine? Or like, where do you get all this energy? They just don't understand it. They don't get it because most people are walking around like this, right? They wake up in the morning, they got to drag their butts out of bed. They throw down some coffee, they eat a donut, then they got to have more coffee. They eat a big lunch, they get sleepy, 5-hour energy drink, drag themselves home, eat dinner, throw down a few beers, pass out, and do it all over again. It's not going to work. Like, you're not going to have a happy life. You might think you are, but eventually it'll catch up to you. Like me when I was 37 and you're bleeding rectally, your elbows are bleeding, and your kids are like, Dad, you're fat. You should be Santa Claus. It's like, this is what's going to happen. And we joke about it, but we're real people. And remember, our poor health doesn't affect just us. It affects our children, our grandchildren, our parents, everybody, our wives, our husbands. We have to take care of our health. So if nobody else in the darn family is going to do it, then you should do it. Set the example, and then give the people around you, the ones you love the most, that gift to give them permission to change themselves. Some will and some won't. That's not your job. Your job is to change yourself.
Yeah, well said. And that's such a in-depth look at that. And so let's go back over those steps one more time. of the nutrient absorption. So
yeah, step one is I would just say, start drinking a lot of water. It's number one because it's going to work on everything. Drinking a lot of water is going to hydrate the cell. Okay, it's going to hydrate the cell.
Body weight in ounces, half your
And
body.
it's going to, yeah, half your weight in liquid ounces daily. That's also going to help you start getting things moving through the colon, all that stuff. So, job number one, we got to get that colon clean. Okay,
Either with a product, the hydrotherapy, or with a gut detox product.
Gut detox product. Okay, so you want to get your body, take your gut into the shop. You do it yourself and sweep it out. You got to get that crap out of there so that you can pave the way for nutrient absorption. Then start putting high quality nutrition. Sprouts, green juices like the Green 85. You guys make green juices down there. All of this stuff is important. High quality nutrition, fresh foods. Yeah. And there's nothing fresher than a sprout. They're alive when you eat them. There's nothing even comes close. The most powerful food, the medicine that you have in your store is that little section over there where those sprouts are. Mm-hmm. That stuff should be like $50 a bag, but people don't really get how powerful it is. Mm-hmm. It's the most powerful medicine in Nature's Pantry is the sprout section.
How much sprouts do you eat every day?
Usually about half my food by weight is sprouts.
And you have several different kinds that you do?
Yeah. Sunflower sprouts, pea sprouts, buckwheat sprouts, broccoli sprouts, radish sprouts, onion sprouts, red clover sprouts. And then we do sprouted mung beans. We sprout lentils, red, French, and green lentils. Fenugreek, which is a Greek hay, that's sprouted. The nuts that we have, almonds, cashews, walnuts, those are all sprouted.
Do you buy them that way, or?
You can. There are some companies, like there's a company called True Roots, TRU Roots. They can have some prepackaged sprouted stuff that people can actually, that's a little bit different because they're dried and cooked. But there's another company called Activated, and they've actually taken the time to take the walnut or the almond, soak it in water for 8 to 12 hours, dry it out for 1 to 2 days under 110, 115 degrees to keep the enzyme active, not cook it. Because then if you go over 115 degrees, those oils, remember, in the fat, in the almond are going to convert to a lipid peroxide. That's a known carcinogen. Most potato chips, people are completely clueless on this. I'll just hopefully save some lives here. But if you see expeller pressed on a potato chip bag, expeller pressing is high pressure on a whatever they put in there, like sunflower, safflower. Canola oil is actually, nobody should ever consume canola oil. That's only for machinery. It's very destructive to human health. It's actually originally called rapeseed, but they changed the name because people don't like buying things with the name rape in it. Maybe a good idea, just stay away from it. Okay. It's only ancient Chinese text shows 10,000 years ago. It's only for machinery. But when you put expeller pressed oils, the expeller press, the pressure creates heat, enough heat to change the composition of that fat to a lipid peroxide. Again, known carcinogen, cancer causer. So most people are like, oh, let's get a bag of chips for the party. And then, boom, boom, let's give me some cancer. I mean, it's literally in there. I mean, you might not get cancer overnight, but it's definitely, it's like another straw on the camel's back, right? That's what's happening. So I don't want to do that. I've been around too much cancer in my life. I've had probably 3,000 people that are cancer patients in my home to teach dinners. We've had over 5,000 people in the house, and probably most of them because of Charles's story. That's how the word got spread. And I've had people come over with tumors on the side of their face or on the side of their neck, or, they've showed me tumors on their bodies, after everybody else leaves. And it's like, man, I've had some rough nights, dude, talking to people, rough nights. And it's hard to hold it together sometimes, but, yeah, it's really frustrating when you see what's happening to people and the suffering that they're going through, and knowing that there's a solution, knowing that people don't even have to get to this point, but we have to get back. People have got to be educated with shows like you're doing, tip of the spear, getting out there and just waking some people up. And you're not going to get all of them, but a couple people, you're going to change the way they think, and they're going to lead them down a different path. And it's the ripple effect, and they're going to change some people, and they're going to change some people. So this show tonight, if we affect one person, that could be thousands of people 20 years from now, from that one person setting an example to another, to another, to another. It's huge. It's really important.
Okay. So let's keep on the list. So water, nutrition, good high quality nutrition.
Yeah. Cleaning that gut, get the gut cleaned out, and then reducing the inflammation on the cells, like the red blood cells, so we can get nutrients in. So we do that with water, high quality fats so that we have good nutrient absorption and removal of waste, and then reducing inflammation on that cellular level. So those are the three things that I found. And if you do all three of those things, wow, it's pretty impressive. It really is.
No,
How good you're going to feel.
Four things.
What's that?
Was it three things or four things? Water, detox, good nutrition, and
well, if we're going to boil it down, there's number one is clean your gut, right? Number two is
the water's tied into that. So it is
flood the body with nutrition. Water's tied into two of them. Flood the body with more than that. Flood the body with nutrition. Number three, reduce cellular inflammation. And then there's three subcategories of that: water, the high quality fats, and things that reduce inflammation on the cellular level. So turmeric root would be a really good thing to reduce inflammation, right? Flaxseed water will reduce inflammation in the body. Lemon water, lime water will reduce inflammation in the body. Water itself, that's why I said water is such a big deal. Infrared saunas, very, very powerful way to reduce inflammation in the body. If you're listening, and then think about this, over in Finland, when we were in Hippocrates, there's always people from Finland there. And they always tell stories. Like, these people buy a plot of land, they build the sauna before they build their house. It's the way it works over there. Okay. Sauna's a big deal over there. We need to make infrared saunas a big deal over here, because we have to balance the scales. Our polluted world has so many toxins. And again, when you're done listening to this talk today, go to your browser and type in 3 words: umbilical cord chemical. Umbilical cord chemical. And you'll see the studies that I saw went back to 2005 showing that every single child and young mother that were born, the young child being born, they tested the umbilical cord blood for just 400 chemicals. Now, keep in mind, there's over 100,000 toxic chemicals out there in commercial production, 2,000 more chemicals being manufactured every year, and only 0.25% of these are ever tested. But they looked for 400. Guess what they found? About 71%. They found 250 of what they're looking for, and 180 of those cause cancer in humans. 212 cause developmental and brain disorders. And this is being found in the umbilical cord blood of the healthiest of us humans, the young babies and the young mothers. You see the problem there? We have got to start learning that detoxification is not a luxury. This is not some woo-woo crap. This is something that we have to do if we want to have a normal life. Because if you don't, remember, we live in a crazy world. So we have to take some other measures and I can tell you right now, an infrared sauna and drinking tons of water, two of the most important things for daily detoxing that you can do besides the product line that we have, right? And I've been a sauna dealer for, I think I talked to you about this when I found that new one. I spent $5,400 on my sauna. It's awesome. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I could never afford that. I get it. I put myself first and got that sucker. But now I found a new technology. Thank God it came to me. I sold my $5,400 sauna. I bought a $1,900 one. It's like 6 to 9 times better. And they have a $1,300 unit that's just as good. So for $1,300, I mean, you could literally put it on a credit card and pay it off in a year or two, whatever, $50 a month, $100 a month.
Do you, now, how do you, if you were interested in those saunas, how would I find one?
Just go to thehealthysauna.com.
Okay.
Yeah, just go to thehealthysauna.com. We created a landing page for it because, and I did the same thing for the water systems, because like Danusha's name for water was really hard to pronounce, and people were calling us up. How do you get a hold of her? It's like, we'll create a landing page for you. So for the water, it's just mypurifiedwater.com. If you want to get interested and get a sauna and get a $100 discount, it's thehealthysauna.com. So, but the sauna, dude, like, I've been sauning for 30 minutes a day for 8.5 years. When I got this new one, I had acne break out of my chest, my neck, and my face for 2.5 weeks. So I was excited because I'm like, wow, this one's working. Like this guy said, it's pushing crap out of me. Right. For about 2-3 months after that, was good. And then 2 months ago, I sat in lotus position on a chair with towels, like white towels. When I'm in there, you put your legs up like this. And I'd get off the towel about 2 months ago, and I looked down there, and there's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gray spots. I was like, what the heck is that? And then the next day, the gray spots are there. I've been pushing out this stuff for 2 months now. 2 months. I don't know if it's mold. I don't know if it's heavy metals from being on the farm and cutting stuff and filing things and drill presses, or, we have blow torches out there and welding. I did all kinds of stuff with my dad out on the farm. I was spraying glyphosate all over the place with Roundup. I would siphon out of my dad's old 71 Ford pickup. He bought brand new. I'd suck gas out of his gas tank and fill up my motorcycle. pretty much every day. And one day I sucked a whole bunch of it down because I wasn't paying attention. 2 days later, I burped up gas. That couldn't have been good for me. So my body, now think about it. Those children being born today, over 250 chemicals, right? And it's probably more like 71,000. The older you are, the more time that you have to bioaccumulate these toxins in your blood, your fat, and your muscle tissue. So it takes time. Your body takes time to release. It can't release all this stuff at once or it'll kill you.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Have you read Andreas Moritz?
Yeah. In fact, his liver gallbladder flush is part of our coaching program.
Yeah, so he talks about toxins. We have toxins in our food, toxins in our environment. We have even toxins that we create ourselves in our own bodies, like stress creates cortisol. And we have systems for dealing with toxins, right? That you've been talking about. We go to the bathroom, we sweat, we exhale. That's one of the things with like the mask. That's not really necessarily a good idea because you're exhaling some of the toxins that you need to get out of your body.
Well, you know what the good deal is about a mask, Blake?
Yeah.
The good thing is the people that put the masks on themselves and they went and got vaccinated, they're really into health. They really are. They're into health. And so for me, I'm like, if we're going to get to the root problem of our health issues, because let's look at the real health issue. The health issue is not COVID. The real health issue is that 80% of us are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. The real health issue is that we spend 3.3 trillion on healthcare, yet we're the ranked 38th or 48th in the world at any time in health. The real issue is that half of us will drop dead of heart attack, and the other half is going to die of cancer, and COPD, and all these other things, and diabetes is on the rise. And what about autism? That's a real cause. In 1980, 1 out of 10,000 children were getting autism. Now it's 1 out of 50 or less. And by the year 2040, 2050, they say it's going to be 1 out of 2 children will have autism. So fast forward, in the future, you're either going to have autism or you're going to be taking care of somebody with autism. We are breaking down. What is the solution to fix our health?
Right.
It's infrastructure. This is the core topic that I'd like to share today. It's infrastructure. If you look at the turn of the 19th century, there was terrible plagues and all this stuff happening and bad, they put that stuff up on TV and like the plague of 1917 and it's the flu and it's going to happen again with COVID. Well, why was causing all that? Too many people in a crowded area, urine and feces in the streets and dead waters and dead cows and dead goats in the water supply. The women's labor movement that worked and got children out of the workplace and got the 8-hour workday and got the plumber and the sanitation worker involved did more for our health. Now think about this, did more for our health than any doctor or pharmacist ever will. And if you just look at the measles vaccine as an example, and measles in general, measles at the turn of the century in 1900, 14 out of 100,000 people were dying of measles. That is a catastrophe. That is a train wreck. By the mid 50s, it was less than a half of a person was dying of the measles, but the out of 100,000. The measles vaccine, Blake, didn't come until 1963. So was it the measles vaccine that's knocked out measles? No, it was infrastructure, again, that cleaned up the streets. It was the women's labor movement. It was women and a few men that joined in later to help. That's what it was. And right now, our infrastructure in our country is a D-. Look it up. It's a D- in some places like Massachusetts, which is the hub of the swamp. It's an F-. So if we're really serious about improving the health of our communities and our children, we need roads, bridges, clean water, clean food, clean air, and we really need clean elections too, but I'm not going to get into that. So infrastructure, the big topic in health is we have poor health and the solution is infrastructure. Right. That's the solution.
Right, absolutely. And with like on the toxin situation, like you were saying, when toxins, we have systems for dealing with it. So either if one of those systems break down, like you're not eliminating going to the bathroom good, you're not sweating things out, you're not breathing things out, if one of those systems breaks down, or if you're getting so many toxins that your body can't deal with that many toxins, which is probably more likely the case for most of us today, then you start to have some problems. And Andreas Moritz talks about how sometimes, and our liver is a big piece of that too. Liver is super important for cleaning, liver and kidneys and gallbladder for cleaning out. And if you get a toxin that your body can't handle, sometimes what will happen is your body will actually form a tumor around that toxin. And if it didn't form that tumor, you may die much faster from that toxin than you would from the cancer being formed. And his theory is that cancer can actually be a healing mechanism because it's protecting you from something. And that's something too that we need to, like you were saying about the root cause of our health problems. Symptoms are our body's alarm system. Our body's telling us something's wrong, you need to deal with it. I might have, it's like a smoke alarm in my house. I might think that's a pretty annoying symptom, so I might go take the battery out or hit the button or take it off the wall. But guess what? My house is going to burn down. So if I just go turning off all the alarms on my body with pharmaceutical drugs that cover up symptoms, pretty soon my house is going to burn down. My body's going to burn down. So
and you're going to have a crappy life too. Your quality of life sucks.
And so we have a system that just takes symptoms and matches a drug with them instead of searching for the underlying cause. I mean, think about it today. You go to a doctor, they say, what's wrong? And you tell them your symptoms, and they give you a drug to match it. They spend it's actually, you're lucky to get 15 minutes, but there's actually an insurance regulation that limits them to spending 15 minutes with you. Most of the time it's 5, and so what's the problem? Here's a drug. What's the problem? Here's a script. And it's not their problem. They get into the doctors and nurses get into it because they want to help people, because they really care about health and want to help people. But then they get put into the system that is basically,
broken.
Yeah. Well, and drugs are motivating everything. There's no incentive to actually get to the underlying cause. The incentive is all built around the drugs and surgery, and not that all of those things are bad, right? Like we're not saying like all of it's invalid. It's just when it's gotten imbalanced, right?
Just most of it. And people have to understand too that Western medicine, well, it's the reality. I mean, Western medicine, where did it come from? It came from crisis management. It came from war. People were getting their arms blown off and they had holes shot in the middle of them and hands blown off, right? You need triage. This is where our medical community shines. ERs, this type of stuff. These people, these doctors, nurses, heroes, right? But when you and then it's sad, but 60% of the surgeries today are unnecessary. But when you look at people just trying to get healthy, it's run by pharmaceutical companies, single molecule drugs made in a laboratory that are synthetic and acid based. And the real answer is carbon-based molecules from nature, plants, saps, barks, roots. All of these things have natural protectants in them that also work in our bodies. A lot of people, this isn't like rocket science, guys. It is so simple. Like back in the day, it's like, oh, the sailors are dying. They've got scurvy. They've got a disease. Stay away from them. No, they just had a vitamin C deficiency. They needed to eat an orange, eat a lemon, eat a lime. In fact, that's why they called the British sailors limeys, because they were eating lots of limes, right?
Right.
Look this stuff up in history. But then what happened was they figured that out. But then the sailors on the long voyages, they were still getting scurvy and because the lemons and the limes would go rancid because they didn't have refrigerators. They're floating around in wooden ships. So then what they figure out? Chickpeas, garbanzo beans. They put them in dry, they soak them, they eat them, and then the sailors could go on long trips. They didn't have a freaking disease. They had a nutrient deficiency. And I'm telling people listening today, you don't have diseases. You have chemical pollution buildup in your body. You have a lack of nutrition and stress.
Right.
And if you can focus on those 3 things, reducing your stress, being very good at it, mitigating your stress, getting the toxins and chemicals out of your body, and boosting your nutrition, your body's going to respond like you can't even believe it. You're going to feel, I promise you, you'll probably look 5 years younger, 6 months if you start doing this stuff. 5 years. Who would like to get a 5-year, what kind of a makeover are you going to get, ladies? It's going to make you look 5 years younger. Well, it's called nature and getting this man-made crap out of you and reducing your stress.
Right. I like what you said about, being a nutrient deficient and chemical overload. Andrew Saul, the mega vitamin man, said, if we keep going the way we're going to have a study on what happens when you put poisonous chemicals in malnourished bodies. And that's where we're at as a society. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And we got to wake up. We got to start putting our health first, and we got to start realizing that what we're putting in our bodies and the lifestyles we're living, aren't going to work for much longer. We got to turn the tide on this. And the thing is, with even with COVID, we're looking for a band-aid to solve our problem, when really, I guess, and honestly, I kind of want to ask you this, and I want to put you on the spot, and I know we're running out of time, but what do you think would have been a good response? Maybe just 3 things you would have done to respond to COVID, other than mass lockdowns, isolation, vaccines. What?
I would have done things that boost people's immune system.
Mm-hmm.
It's really simple. Actually, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, I'll just pull it up right now. This is one of the top immune system experts in the world. And what we were doing, you guys can look this up too. I'll look it up right now if I remember. It's like Dr. Shiva letter to President Trump PDF. That's what you want to look up. So back when COVID first got started, Shiva for Senate. Here it is. Found it. So he wrote a letter, and it says, "Dear Mr. President, this letter provides you, the administration, a solution to restore the immune and economic health of American people. The solution can be executed immediately and in a low-risk and cost-effective manner. The current trajectory of Dr. Anthony Fauci's public health policy will result in the short and long." Now, remember, this was written March 23rd, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Fauci's policy at best is based on, let me go back this. Anthony Fauci's public health policy will result in the short and long-term destruction of our citizens' immune health, as well as our nation's economic health. What's happened? We are at 25% unemployment, Blake, and people are running around all fear, perhaps as a conscious and intended goal. Dr. Fauci's policy at best is based on a 1950s outdated one-size-fits-all non-personalized approach to medicine and public health. And at worst, it is derived from fake science, understanding of the immune system, one which Dr. Fauci over 5 decades has perpetuated and exploited to build his career. There is no need to shut down our entire country. There is no need to quarantine all of our citizens. The solution here provides a path in advance of immune health for all citizens while getting our healthy people back to work now. All right. So I'll skip down here, but this is this is kind of important. Maybe I should just read this. I'll just keep reading it. By the way of background, 2 important developments in modern science emerged with the conclusion of the Human Genome Project in 2003. 1, the field of biological engineering, a new discipline demanding a modern engineering systems approach to biology versus the old model of seeing the body as a disconnected parts. And 2, the need for precision and personalized medicine, the right medicine for the right person at the right time. As one of the first PhDs emerging from MIT's Department of Biological Engineering in 2007, Dr. Shiva's research led him to the invention of Cytosolve today, a proven technology that enables the discovery of new medicines, combination therapies, functional foods, and supplements faster, cheaper, and safer by using the computer to model complex molecular mechanisms and diseases. Developments like this and a richer understanding of biology now provide us a golden opportunity to create the future by practicing real science and real medicine, especially at the time of crisis like this. The modern science of the immune system informs us that it is over the reaction of our own weakened and dysfunctional immune system attacking tissues and cells of our own body that harms and kills versus the virus, be it COVID-19 or any other virus. The unfortunate medieval training that most medical doctors, MDs, receive does not educate them on the basic science of the immune system. Like you said, Blake, they're just part of a broken system. In a healthy individuals, the immune system processes pathogens with a natural immune system response that is mild and non-lethal. However, in those who are immunocompromised, elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions, their own immune systems may overreact, and in the case of COVID-19, attacking the lung epithelial cells and tissues, leading to the hospitalization and mortality. Below is the solution that can lead America back to health, immune, and economic health. So here it is. Step 1, organize our citizens into 4 groups. Group 1, testing positive for COVID-19. Group 2, hospitalized and in critical condition. Group 3, immunocompromised and not COVID-19 positive. And Group 4, healthy individuals and not COVID-19 positive. All right, step 2, deliver a personalized protocol for each group. Group 1 protocol. These are the people that tested positive for COVID-19. Quarantine until they test negative for COVID-19. 400,000, listen to this one, 400,000 international units of vitamin A palmitate for 2 days. 50,000 international units of vitamin D or vitamin D3 for 2 days. These are people that tested positive for COVID. Now, for the group 2 protocol, you were hospitalized and in critical condition, 4,000 international units of vitamin A palmitate for 2 days, 50,000 international units of vitamin D for a day for 2 days, same as the beginning, the first group, but also deliver intravenous vitamin C, 100-gram drip per day until they are back to normal. And I actually have proof. Dr. Ryan Pageant, a medical doctor up in Seattle, got COVID very early on, and he was sick. They put him on ventilators. His health was declining because they were blowing up his lungs with that stupid ventilator in this situation. And they put him on an immunosuppressant drug and high dose vitamin C IV, and he healed him. And then he got well. He got healed. Right. It was like a miracle. That was in the Los Angeles Times, but so that even the scumbags in the media today even leak that out, but nobody hears about it. Okay.
ACD, vitamin A, C, D, intravenous vitamin C has been shown more than almost any other substance on the face of the earth.
It's again, here we are back to vitamin C, scurvy, COVID, the flu. You know, if any of my clients before even COVID happened, if they had pneumonia, I'd tell them to get on vitamin C IV. If they had flu, vitamin C IV. If they had cancer, vitamin C IVs, right? It's just powerful stuff. Now, the group 3 protocol, this is for people that are immunocompromised. You know, somebody might have had stents in their heart disease. Maybe they're a type 2 diabetic, they're overweight, obese, morbidly obese, but they're not testing positive, okay? The group 3, and this could be AIDS, asthma, COPD, cystic fibrosis, high blood sugar, autoimmune disorders, those taking antibody drugs. For children, 400,000 international units of vitamin A palmitate for 2 days, 50,000 international units of vitamin D for 2 days, and then 500 milligrams of vitamin C per day. And then also to take an iodide, 3 drops per day in a drink once per day, right? For adults, it was the same protocol except 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day and then 6 drops of the iodide product. Now, and the last one was the group 4 protocol for healthy individuals who are not COVID-19 positive. So I'm scrolling back and forth here so I can see this. It's 1,000 international units for children, 1,000 international. Again, this is healthy, no COVID deal. 1,000 children, 1,000 international units of vitamin A palmitate a day ongoing, 2,000 international units of vitamin D per day ongoing, which is what you get out of Green 85. 250 milligrams of vitamin C per day. You get that out of food. And then 3 drops of iodide. Adults, it was 10,000 international units of vitamin A per day, 5,000 international units of vitamin D, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and 6 drops of iodide. All right. Healthy individuals, step 3. Healthy individuals based on the above protocol should get back to work immediately and follow their daily program as informed. Individuals in group 1 to group 3 until they regain full health should do the following on a monthly basis. And then he goes into, more stuff. It's almost done. But in addition to the above protocol, I'm organizing medical doctors across the world who not only support this protocol, but also know that food is medicine, as did Hippocrates, the father of medicine. Any citizen who may need medical advice on this solution may also send an email to corona@systemshealth.com and receive an answer from a medical doctor. To this effort, I'm contributing the infrastructure of EchoMail, a technology I developed. This is Dr. Shiva talking. For email magic for the White House that follows HIPAA guidelines to support this health communication effort. In summary, we have been led down the path of corporate solutions espoused by the likes of Dr. Fauci and his colleagues at the CDC. That is not in the interest of the American people. Such politicians have led America to the lowest longevity rates, the highest infant mortality rates in the Western world. Finally, concerning COVID-19, we should ask, why is it that third world countries such as Chad and Djibouti, which have nowhere near the medical facilities of the United States, have only 1 COVID-19 infection and 0 deaths? Perhaps it's because they get food right out of the ground, providing them enormous amounts of vitamin A, and they are out in the sun all day, working and playing, getting tons of vitamin D. Yours very, very truly, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai, MIT PhD, inventor of email, Fulbright scholar. I mean, just blah, blah, blah. His list is ridiculous.
So vitamin A, D, and C, are those expensive vitamins?
No, they're cheap. And the other thing too is like, you know, the whole thing with the hydroxychloroquine thing. Yeah, hydroxychloroquine works, but it only works with zinc. Hydroxychloroquine is the transport mechanism to get the zinc into the cell.
It's a zinc ionophore.
Zinc stops the virus from replicating. So let's look at this. What does vitamin D do? Vitamin D is like it's like a marine, and it shoots holes in the virus wall and kills it. Okay. So that's what vitamin D is for. So that's part of the defense. Vitamin A strengthens your cell walls so the virus can't get in. And if the virus does get in, you can do hydroxychloroquine, or you could do quercetin or quinine found in the was it club soda or whatever.
Yep.
But take them together. The quinine, the quercetin, or the hydroxychloroquine, or budesonide, whatever, the inhaled steroid will then transport the zinc into the cell. So if the virus gets in there, it will stop it from uncoiling and replicating. You know, that's how it works, right? So the other thing is silver. You guys probably have colloidal silver. That also stops virus from uncoiling and putting that RNA strip through and hijacking our machinery.
Before antibiotics, silver was used before.
Yes, it was the original antibiotic, but it's kind of like beta tapes. It got shoved off to the side, and VHS came out the deal, right? But silver is very powerful. You see, there's so many things, dude. Like funny movies will boost your immune system. Hanging out with people, getting outside, fresh air.
Right, like getting out from underneath a spirit of fear and like being with people that lift you up and trying not to have, managing your stress and going outside and living your life and being happy. And, and things like walks, going on walks, getting fresh air, breathing fresh air, drinking your water, doing the things that are good for you, all the fundamentals of health that we teach in our health challenges that you always teach in your classes. And all right, Tim, well, just in closing, I want to thank you so much for all you shared. It's been really fun and really informative as always. And I know our audience is going to be really just excited about this episode, and I'll pass on all the praise that we hear. You're such an inspiration to me and so many people. What would be the one thing you would say to just encourage and inspire people to take their health into their own hands?
Well, I know what I want to say, but I'm going to say something a little different and then probably say a couple things, Blake. So when I went to Hippocrates, what they told us was you either get enlightened or frightened, right? You get this information, you get enlightened, you're excited about it, and you're moving towards it, or you get scared because maybe you got a diagnosis or something and you have to do something, or you're going to die, or you're just life's, you don't feel good. You might go to the doctor and they say, everything's fine, all your results, but no, I'm not. I don't feel right. And then the husband or the wife is like, your doctor said you're fine. You're fine. No, I'm not fine. I get this a lot from people. So whether you're enlightened or frightened, the bottom line is you got to take action. And the most important thing that I think to do is find other people that have already had success, copy what they're doing, take as much as you can from them, add it to your lifestyle, and go to the next person. Get some mentors, get some people that are actually healthy. Like if you go to a doctor, would you go to a blind ophthalmologist to get your eyes looked at? Probably not. Would you go to an overweight dietitian or nutritionist, even though a lot of them are overweight? Why would we take an advice from somebody that can't even do it themselves, right? If your medical people around you, your sphere, your chiropractor, your nutritionist, your doctors, all these people, your yoga instructor, your massage therapist, all these people should be healthy. Like they should be pretty freaking healthy. They should have really good skin. Their skin should be glowing. They should have white eyes. They should have good energy. What time is it? It's 7:00, 7:04. How's your energy, Blake?
I'm still going, man. Let's do this.
Yeah. 48. How old are you?
39.
39. Not a lot of 39-year-olds drinking beer and watching Jeopardy right now, or probably a football game, right? They're tired, right? I know, because I was one of those people. I'd have like rum and cokes and watch Tombstone, which is a great movie, by the way. I'm your huckleberry. Actually, eat huckleberries, right? That's what I'd get, the takeaway. No, but so the big takeaway here is for those of you listening, if you to inspire, is just put yourself first. Put yourself first. So many people put themselves last. They take care of the husband. They take care of the spouse. They take care of the kids, grandma, grandpa, everybody else, their sisters, aunts, and they put themselves last. And then a wheel falls off. and they can't take care of themselves anymore. And then they go into a broken medical system, and it's like putting a boot on their neck, kind of like what happened to that George Floyd dude. You got a boot on your neck and they got you. And you're the only person that's going to save yourself. You got to become your own doctor. You got to wake up and plug back into nature. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. Mama bear teaches baby bear what to do by her actions. She's like, hey, look, there's some grubs in the log. Scratches them up and eats them. Baby's like, oh, I'll try that. Babies mimic us. You see this stuff. Hey, in the fall, goes out and catches salmon, feeds it the salmon. Before too long, the baby bear's catching the salmon, right? So if you want your kids to put themselves first, then by God, you better put yourself first. Because if you put everybody else first and you put yourself last, your kids are watching you, and down the road, your kids are going to be like you. They're going to be overweight, fatigued. They're going to have on medications, these types of problems. Now, some of you out there are listening are healthy. That's fantastic. Some are up the middle, but some people are really struggling right now. And I'm not putting anybody down. I was there. Okay. I was there. I should have been on, they wanted me to be on pharmaceutical drugs. I just said no, because I don't know. I just grew up in La Grande, and I was out in the wilderness all the time. And I don't know. It sounded weird. I don't want to, you can't even pronounce this stuff. It was just weird to me, but I didn't understand the diet component, the lifestyle component, and I didn't understand how bad the chemical toxins are today in the food and the water. So just get educated. Take a big breath, put yourself first, and set a good example for your kids, the rest of your family, and your community. And some people will come along and some won't. Again, that is not your job. Your job is to take care of you and lead by example. And that's the only thing that's the gift you can give to your children and the people that you love in your community, is be the example. That's all you can do.
That's right. Oh, that's so true. And just like you say, change yourself, change your world.
That's right. That's how it works.
Tim James, folks, health coach, founder of Chemical Free Body. Man, it's just been a pleasure as always, Tim. I always enjoy talking to you. I always learn so much in our conversations. And Tim James has chemicalfreebody.com is his coaching website. And you can also find all of his supplements and products there. He has amazing supplements. I know I take several of his supplements. I know a lot of people love the Green 85 product. It's a huge, got your enzymes, got your probiotics, got your greens. I know people that really have
vitamin D. With
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we added the vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I will say this. So if you guys are in the local La Grande area, stop into Nature's Pantry. They carry my product line. And if you're not in the La Grande area and you're listening to this, you can just go to chemicalfreebody.com. I would suggest going to the products tab, scrolling down to the savings bundle so you can get a discount. Probably not as good as a discount as you guys have, because I let you guys do whatever you want, because I don't care. I love La Grande. But map pricing, forget about it. I don't care, whatever you guys want to do. Because I just want to help people in my hometown, man. In fact, I might even be moving back to La Grande. We'll see. I'm thinking about it.
Hey, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, we'll team up and crush it. But go to the savings bundles, get a discount. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 5% additional discount code. So when you go to checkout, then I'd say grab the savings bundles. You can start off with a jumpstart bundle or go all the way to the total energy and detox bundle, which is what I take, or just pick a bundle that resonates with you, or it's affordable. You'll get an extra 5% discount code. What do you want it to be, Blake?
I want it to be Vibrant You.
Okay, it'll be Vibrant You. So if you put in Vibrant You at checkout, you'll get a double discount, and we have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. And if one of our products doesn't work for you, call us, let us know. We'll refund your money for that product. And then you'll either talk to me or another one of our coaches. And, we're pretty keen on the supplement industry. There's other companies out there, they might have 20 products, but 3 or 4 of them pass our litmus test. And then one of those might be what you need. Because sometimes people have rare allergies and weird stuff that just doesn't work. Yeah. It's okay. These are just tools in the toolkit. If the tool doesn't work, if it, we'll grab another one. We'll find one that does. We really want to help people get to the core of their problem, solve it. And we know it's about detox, nutrition, and stress. Remember, detox, nutrition, stress, detox, nutrition, stress. Those are the 3 main focuses. If you get really good at reducing your stress, detoxing your body, and flooding your body with nutrition and what's missing, this is easy. This is like falling off a log to get your health back.
I like that. Yeah. And the Green 85, that product, it's hard to keep it on the shelf. It sells so fast. The gut detox, people love that product. Like you said, that's a really good option for a detox. And the probiotics, prebiotics, that's a really amazing product. So again, Tim, just thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And doing
I'll be back up in a couple of weeks.
we're having a health challenge soon. So I'm going to be reaching out about that. I know you got lots of free time, so I'm just going to keep bugging you to get you to, so you can do something with your life.
Okay, cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks, man.
we should do another class locally. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, let's do an in-person one.
Okay,
Hey,
cool.
hey, thanks for all you do. Thanks for just helping people with their health and serving people. And I love your passion. So nice to have you on the show. And thank you everybody for watching tonight. We're so glad to have you join us. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
And we're clear.